All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is right around 5 p.m. West Coast time. I am going to call it 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on that there East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I am Mad Statter. This is Chatter with Statter, and we have got folks already here hanging out. We've got ourselves a raid from Terry in Scotland, aka Francis Farkle. That's his government name. Yep, that's his government name, all right. All right, so it's good to see Shock letting everybody know what that their schedule is for everybody's. And let's see here, like I said, we had Terry in Scotland come in with a raid of 3 people. Katie Zora, part of that raid, I'm going to assume, but not be 100% sure, but I am going to assume that perhaps, just maybe, DJ Smook came in on that raid as well. But before DJ Smook said hello, we have eMusic saying aloha to everybody, and Kenny from the Cove saying aloha Statterers. We've got Elaine saying aloha to Terry and the Raiders, and Thomas the Turtle coming in saying aloha as well. Oh, I don't know where Katie's at, but it sounds like she might be near a pub brawl outside. That's all right, though, because as long as she's inside and safe, taking no sides of that there pub brawl, hopefully no pint glasses will be thrown in her direction. And we've got Mama Sean saying aloha all, going to be lurking while you finish making dinner. That sounds fantastic, Mama Sean, but you're going to have to pay a dinner tax. What are you making? Very curious to find out. It's always good to have ideas. Although, I did get my new weekly delivery of Factor, and we'll be talking about that in a little bit. So my dinners for the next 6 days are all taken care of. Or maybe lunches. Or, in this case, breakfast. Once again, though, we will talk about that. And, all right, so DJ Smook, I knew he was here. He says aloha. And, let's see here. Who else do we have here in case I'm missing everybody or anybody? I am missing everybody and anybody. Cindy Krause is in the house. And DJ Smook, sorry if you're in and out of the stream. I'm battling a COVID episode. Oh, honey bunches, no apologies. I'm so glad you could be here for as little or as much as you need to be here for. But for certain, definitely take care of yourself. I feel so fortunate that my only battle with the COVID was quite honestly, it hit hard and it hit fast. And then I really wasn't that sick at all. And if I had to be sick like that again, I would choose to be sick like that again. It really, I know so many other people just had it. Boop, boop, boop. Just, it's a horrible, horrible thing. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm blood type O. And apparently blood type O has a little bit of a better chance statistically with the COVIDs than the other folk. Either way, do what you need to do to make yourself feel as bestest as you can. And let's see here. Kenny from the Cove asking, you get that thing I sent you? Kenny from the Cove, I did, and I responded back probably about an hour ago to you. We will not be doing that tonight. However, if you read in my note, you'll find out why. And you'll see. And for those of you who don't understand what's going on with this private conversation that's happening in public, on July 3rd, that is the Chatter with Statter 4th year anniversary coming up. We're obviously not going to be having a July 3rd episode because July 3rd takes place on, I believe, Thursday. Hold on. Let me just make sure. I might be making that up. No. Yeah, July 3rd takes place on a Thursday. So our Wednesday show, i.e. the Wednesday that's coming up, that's going to be July 2nd. And that will suffice for our anniversary show this year. And Kenny, I think you should be able to figure out why we're waiting until Wednesday for what you gave me. Right? Right. There you go. And Shock is in the shop at her house, I'm assuming. And let's see here. If there is a pub brawl, says Terry in Scotland, Katie probably started it. But Katie's like, no, it's the biker gang. It's the biker gang. And Katie Zora, I just have to question, yes, but are you part of that biker gang? Actually, if it's anything like the biker gangs here in the United States, I know you're not because girls can't be a part of the biker gangs. Anyway, we have eMusic saying hello, and we've also got Mitchie Mama here in the house. And, Tarragon chicken. All right, the tax has been paid. Tarragon chicken and mushrooms, says Mama Sean. That sounds delicious. And let's see here. My cases were mild. I'm A positive, says Shock, and I keep my blood sugar low. And let's see here, DJ Smook. This is my 4th time. Oh my God, DJ Smook. This one came on rougher than my last one I had 3 years ago. Holy flirking snit. And it looks like DJ Smook has a 3-stream streak, so fantastic. And you got harpooned during COVID more times than a meth head's arm. Right, there you have it, dude. I hear ya. Saving the good stuff for the proper time. I'm digging that. Right, yeah, your timing was exquisite. Just 1 stream off. That's all, dude. So yeah, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just giving you better placement, I guess is what it is. Anyway, all right, so now that we have most of the regulars here, let's do our little Black Cat intro and we'll get the party started. All right, sorry about that delay. I had to blow my nose. I suddenly am feeling some allergies coming along, and that is less than ideal. I might even have to break out my Flonase. No, that's not true. My generic Flonase. And Mitchie Mama, you don't remember my hair being that red. Yeah, it was at the very beginning. It was at the very beginning. I had a blonde streak in the front, and then I tried to keep it super hot pink, hot fuchsia, hot pinkish purple. But then my hair got so damaged from the bleaching that I have since let it grow out. But I am missing the pink like nobody's business. And so once these little blonde bits get trimmed out, then I'm going to do another bleach and bright pink situation. So one day soon, eventually, I will be that bright again. But right now, nope, I'm just mostly natural, except for these little tiny bits. Wait, no, there we go. These little tiny blonde bits that still need to be trimmed out. And Mitchie Mama, I had to miss movie time yesterday. My client asked me to help him and his wife doctor install a Murphy bed. That was an interesting affair. Interesting. You know, I really, oh, you're so sweet, Terry in Scotland. I really am intrigued by the idea of a Murphy bed because my house is just so flippin' small. But, the idea of a Murphy bed also is sort of strange to me, like, and Mitchie Mama, actually, here, you can answer these questions. So now, do you have to make the bed before you put the bed back in the wall? Or do you not make the bed before you put the bed back in the wall? And then when you take the bed out of the wall, do you have to make it? And when I say make it, I don't necessarily mean the bottom fitted sheet. I mean all of the other things that are on top of it. It came in parts, so I have to assemble it. Right, but once you're using it, isn't a Murphy bed what goes into the wall? Or goes into a cabinet, I guess, next to the wall, however you want to frame that. So when you're putting it away, and John says, you put the bed back in the wall with your wife in it, is how it works. Actually, I have wondered about whether or not that's possible. I mean, wife or not. And I've also wondered if it's possible to get trapped in it. And I also wonder if you are trapped, like, if you do get popped up, I have a lot of questions for Murphy in his bed, actually. If you want to do it for too long, you need some plastic sheeting. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And Mitchie Mama, it was third hand. We couldn't finish it because at the very end we found it was missing a bolt. Oh, Mitchie Mama. That is enough to make you want to throw the bed out your flippin' window. At the last bolt, you found out they were missing a bolt, basically, is what you're saying. And yeah. So, okay, yeah, I would be so frustrated if I were you, Mitchie Mama. But you also say you can't get trapped. You can push it down from the inside. That is good. And if a wife can fit in a folding bed sofa, she probably will fit in a Murphy bed. Oh, John, I don't know what kind of games you and your wife play. I would be so, talk about, talk about the, wow, talk about a nightmare. Getting folded up in the hide-a-bed in the couch. And Puzzycat, that is right. Don't forget the silent viewers who are in bed, says Puzzycat. Because Puzzycat absolutely watches this or listens to this as he's going moi moi. Because he gets up at dark 30 every morning and he has to go to bed at dark 30 every evening. But alas, he did send me an email a few days ago, an email of utmost importance, by the way. So we're going to have to talk about this because he's in the house and I have been informed that I got actually notice from higher ups, people who are higher than me. Now, if you were in the stream on last Wednesday, you would know that Mr. Leo was charged with some crimes. He was charged with some sleeping in unauthorized zones, and I'm pretty sure I can get him off of that. But second degree, cuteness in the second degree, I don't know if he's going to be able to get over those charges. Cuteness in the second degree is pretty serious. And I'm not so powerful to get him off of the cuteness charge, right? But Puzzy let me know, because he is in with the cats, that actually he is Sir Leo, Majesty of Mr. Majesty, Royal King of Molokai. I don't exactly remember his title, so forgive me, Puzzycat. I am massacring the king's name. But Leo is Sir Leo of Molokai, and he is very important. And I believe he's got, what is it called? Immunity? A diplomatic immunity? Yes. So, hold on here. His name is Mr. Leo, Lord of Molokai. Right, of course. I don't know how I forgot. So Mr. Leo, Lord of Molokai, he is not gonna be charged with anything. He has friends in high places. And he definitely can beat any charge that my piddly jurisdiction can throw at him. So, Sir Leo, Lord of Molokai, according to Puzzycat, who was remiss in letting me know his full title. I don't know why. He must be like undercover or something, but only now that criminal charges have been presented against Leo have I learned his royal status. And so, Sir Leo, Lord of Molokai, will no longer be charged with cuteness in the second degree. Snoozing in unauthorized places has already been stricken from the record. We're removing those charges because so many people do it. But his cuteness charge, well, we know it would stick, but he apparently is above all that. So, I would like to thank Andre for throwing down all of those gift subs to all of those people. And it looks like we've got a hype train going on, so that is super awesome. And yes, Leo got busted for cuteness. It's cuteness in the second degree. It's a problem. And John does not recommend folding a cat up in a Murphy bed. They make too much noise in there. Well, I just know how they sound folded up in a sofa. Fair enough. However, John, I will say this. If the cat squirms himself into that fold-a hideaway bed, they will nary make a sound, and you will tear the house apart looking for them. You will create posters for wanted posters for them, and just as soon as you post all of the posters for their missing selves in your neighborhood, that's when they reveal themselves as being voluntarily smushed in the hide-a-bed. That's how that works. And it looks like we've got Andre throwing down some biddies. We've got Andre throwing down more biddies. So thank you so much. Sir Leo does not live in Molokai. Is he ruling in absentia? I think he is absconding from his duties, actually, which is why no one was supposed to know about his royal status. But now that he got himself into trouble, all has been revealed. Hopefully, Molokai will not extradite him back. Hopefully, they've been able to deal without him. Because he really, really, it really needs to, he needs to hang out here. And let's see here. Trail Dust in the house. I got here for poster posting. Poster posting, I guess. I don't know what you mean by that. But I know that Mitchie Mama gave 100 biddies, so I want to thank her for that. And let's see here. Who else do we have? All right. So, well, we've got a hype train level 3. Awesome, dudes. All right. Well, now that Puzzy is in the house, I am going to do another little thingamabopper in regards to Puzzy. Oh no. Okay. I thought I was going to do that. But instead, I guess I'm going to just keep talking to you, and hopefully we will be able to pretend like we know what we're doing, and we really don't, though. I know, it's a royal scandal over Leo, but here we go. I have a piece of news out of Florida that I'm hoping, Puzzy, you can maybe tell me if you are familiar with this, because this is totally, this is absolutely right up your alley. Oh, you're talking about a poster, posting missing poster for a couch cat. Right. Boy, howdy, Trail Dust. You know, the things that come out of my mouth that I don't even know. There you go. Now, Puzzy Cat, Andre, no, I don't know what I'm doing. Puzzy Cat, this, if you have a comment, nothing will be self-incriminating, I don't think, because this is something that we know you are familiar with. You tell us about where you're at enough that I have a good sense that you are familiar with this stretch of land. So, in Florida, they're finding some weird stuff. And let's see here. Jaffa Kitty is hiding somewhere in the house. It's a little house, but she's a little cat, and she's black, which will make it so much more difficult for you to find her. Trust me on that. And let's see here. So, this is what's going on in Florida these days, and maybe Puzzy Cat's to blame. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, dang it. I need to learn how to push the buttons. All right, maybe Puzzy Cat's to blame.
All new at 6, creatures are coming ashore on the Space Coast. Rare sea stars are catching people off guard.
Yeah, people aren't sure why there's a spike in these sightings, but they're trying to help the animals get back to safety. And Fox 35's Esther Bauer spoke to some people who saw the stars on the beach.
All across the Space Coast, we've been seeing reports about sea stars coming to shore. Unfortunately, we didn't see one for ourselves while walking on the beach, but several beachgoers did and say it's something they won't forget. These 9 arms and tiny tentacles stopped this beachgoer in her tracks.
I was definitely a little shocked. I've seen, 5 armed sea stars before, but I've never seen anything like this.
Elise Craig was walking near Melbourne Beach when she stumbled on the sea star.
He was large. I've never seen a starfish this large.
She posted her find on Facebook and quickly realized she wasn't the only one to see a surge of stars on the Space Coast.
And a lot of people were commenting, showing some of the things they've found. Same type of sea stars.
Still alive.
Denise Derrick Wright stumbled on 2 stars recently in Satellite Beach.
I was kind of apprehensive when I looked at it.
But she knew she had to help get the star out of the sand and back into the water because it was still alive.
Very cool to see, so that's why I knew I was supposed to put it back in the ocean just to be safe.
Sea stars are related to sand dollars, sea urchins, and sea cucumbers. The creatures are only found in salt water.
So I don't know really where they're coming from or why they're showing up.
A biogeochemist told us it's too soon to tell what could be bringing them out of the water. Something as simple as a patch of low oxygen in the ocean or dredging offshore. The Pacific Coast had a major die-off about 10 years ago, but those sea stars were killed because of a disease caused by warmer water. Thankfully, these stars are still alive and just need some help getting back to safety.
So I just wanted to make sure that I could protect him and get him back in the water so he could continue living on.
If you do save a star, try to scoop them up with sand and place them gently in the water so you don't disturb their tentacles. And while our local sea stars only had 9 arms, according to NOAA, these sea stars can have up to 40 arms, and if one falls off, it'll grow back just fine. Reporting in Brevard County, Esther Bauer, Fox 35 News.
Sorry about that feedback there. And yeah, hey, Broken Soul, good to see you. So, yeah, Broken Soul talking about Terry's little Halloween kitty. But let's see here. Terry, she does not want to be mistaken for a Jaffa orange biscuit. That is exactly true, says Andre. So, the sea stars out of Florida made me think of Puzzycat. And I don't know if Puzzycat has seen any of those stars, but he did say that that was a mighty big sea star. And Picola T here saying hello, aloha, chatterers. Now, one thing I have to say, even though I've just been saying sea star right now, until like right now, I call those things starfish. I mean, I know that they're not starfish, but I know they're technically called sea stars, okay? I get it, but I always call them starfish, so I was really taken aback at how many randos off the beach were correctly calling them sea stars when it's like starfish, dude. That's what I call them. And I am just curious, you guys, if you were to see, it doesn't matter 5-leg, 9-leg, 40-leg, if you were to see one of those things on the beach, how would you, other than, oh my god, that monster, or aye, like Shock said, what would you call it? Would you call it a starfish, or would you call it a sea star? Because yeah, Broken Soul, I use starfishes all the like starfish is how that Lord Cthulhu, right? Okay, there you go, valid. But Cindy Krause, starfish. Mitchie Mama, starfish. Okay, so we're not the weirdos here. It is and hey, SpongeBob SquarePants is a starfish. I thought SpongeBob SquarePants was a sponge. And I thought his friend was a starfish. Or is his friend an octopus? No, the grumpy cook is the octopus, right? I don't watch that show very often. But his friend is the starfish. And no, his friend is... And he is a star... SpongeBob is a starfish and not a sponge? That's what you're telling me? Yeah, Patrick was the starfish. SpongeBob is a sponge. SpongeBob is the yellow guy, right? Now, I know that sponges aren't shaped the way SpongeBob SquarePants' sponge is shaped, but, oh, no, on the show, a starfish is what you meant. Okay, so he calls his friend a starfish. Right, okay. So Patrick was a starfish. Patrick is a starfish. Everybody knows Patrick's name except for me. But But it's so funny how, even though we're all very much adults, we know enough about SpongeBob SquarePants that we, even if we don't watch it very much, can have a bit of a conversation about it. But yeah, okay, so starfish is what I refer to them as well. So it hit my ear wrong when they said sea star, even though technically that is the correct term. So, yeah, there we go. Squidward is the squid. There we go. SpongeBob is a sponge. And Kenny, since you seem to know exactly, Nicole T, if SpongeBob wasn't a rectangle, then he wouldn't be able to wear square pants. It isn't Squidward a squid and not an octopus? Very good question. I can only assume that Squidward is a squid and not an octopus. Very good point. And Mitchie Mama, if I saw a starfish on the sand, I would leave it alone. Honestly, I would too. I would just assume, just like sand dollars, like the water will eventually come back and cover it. Now, I guess if I saw a starfish way up high on the beach where the sand is really dry and the water hasn't come to, that would indicate to me some idiot brought it to a place it didn't need to be, and I'd probably put it in the water. But in regards to, if it was on the wet sand of the beach, I don't know. I think I would probably just leave it because the water will come back. And starfish are intertidal creatures. They do, I mean, maybe not every species, obviously, but there are plenty of starfish in the Puget Sound that get uncovered by the low tide and then recovered by the high tide, and that's part of their cycle. That's how that works. So I don't know. And let's see here. If I saw a starfish in the sponges are on the west coast by Tarpon Springs. Gotcha. West coast of Florida. Not, I'm like, no, I don't even know what a tarpon spring is on the west coast here, but you're not talking about the west coast here. Got it. All right, there we go. Okay, so sea stars, starfish, we've decided it is better off being referred to as a starfish. And let's see here. What else? One of SpongeBob's great grand sponges is a loofah. Our tide range is about 100 feet of beach between high tide and low tide. Oh, yeah, I bet it is because it's so flat, whereas our incline is much deeper. And there's an old movie about sponge harvesters. They wear those big old, breathing helmets to go down and get them. There you go. But Kenny, now I'm going to assume that you are speaking with authority, and this is not something you made up. But one of SpongeBob's great grand sponges is a loofah. I don't understand how that's possible because of what Andre just posted. You can actually grow your own loofahs in your backyard. It's kind of crazy. I always thought loofahs came from the sea. They don't. They come from a vine on land. And loofahs aren't sponges. No, in fact, they're prickly exfoliators like nobody's business, right? And they don't come from the sea. And so I was wondering if that was something you said, Kenny, or if it was a flaw in the cartoon. Because frankly, I would like to hear. I would like to know. I was hoping that the cartoonists were the ones who had that loophole in their storyline. But you know, I mean, who knows, man? SpongeBob, he gets around. So who knows? He might have a lady on land, right? Or maybe SpongeBob's offspring, they get around, and maybe they had a little bit of a clandestine affair with one of their vines on the coast. I mean, I'm not going to say that a sea sponge can't have a loofah for a grandkid. You know, as long as they do the family business, which is make my skin silky smooth, they're all good, okay? Okay? And yeah, the loofahs totally look like they come from the sea when they're dried out, but the loofahs totally look like squash before while they're growing. I've been thinking about growing loofahs just because, like, who cares? If it's like they're not edible, who cares how they look? Even the tiniest one is sort of useful. And good Lord, dude, people pay a lot of money for them. And loofahs really scratch my sensitive skin. I like using the Japanese nylon scrubbing towels. On most of my skin, I agree, but on my legs and on my feet, loofahs actually are okay. But once it comes to my arms and my body and my back, no, I can't use a loofah. They are almost prickly. And once again, my bid for ridiculousness has has been denied by Statter. She is such a festizio. Ooh, I don't know what that word is, and I feel like I should be offended, but instead I'm stoked. I don't know what a festizio is, so I'm going to have to look that up. But you guys, this is really strange because we did not plan this conversation at all. Where the hell did loofahs come from? Why are we talking about exfoliating skin? Well, I don't know, but it goes right with this, y'all. It goes right with this. Check this out. They've just recently found this out. Like, this is brand new news that has been reported in the last, 4 days. See, Honda brought it up to me first. I went and grabbed, she had a big article, but it was behind a paywall, so I didn't read all of it. So instead, I went and found a YouTube video to synopsisize it. And check this out, dude. We are not the only ones who exfoliate our skin with things from the sea. And as Puzzycat just mentioned, and once in a while bales of weed washed up on the beach, and we called it seaweed. And if y'all don't know what kelp is, you could call it seaweed. And here, hold on. This is what it looks like. That's what bull kelp looks like. And as you can see, you've got these little air bladders that keep things afloat. And then you've got these little prickly leaves that have texture on them. And so it's kind of logical that that the orcas might grab some of that and rub it between their bodies to exfoliate. So creating brand new tools to keep their skin shiny and luxurious, just like the grand hunters and killers and the top level apex ocean predator they are. They want to look good. You think konbu is kelp? Yeah, there's a lot of different varieties of kelp, like tons of varieties of kelp. Bull kelp is one of them, and I think it was and bull kelp is really common around here in the Puget Sound, and I think it was the bull kelp that the Salish Sea orcas were using, that they saw them using. I have no doubt that other types of kelp, seaweed, whatever you want to call it, could be used as well, because a lot of the seaweeds have texture. I know that, like, what is it, emu, that's got a weird little prickly texture. So, you know, rubbing it against your skin makes sense. And let's see here, Picola T finally got her replacement washer delivered on Thursday after a month plus waiting. On Friday, we walked into Costco warehouse and saw our exact same washer for $200 less than we paid at Costco Furniture. Apparently, they are separate entities. Who knew? First off, I didn't even know there was Costco Furniture versus, I didn't know that existed. And the fact that Costco Furniture is separate from Costco, its entity, oh no. So, I'm glad that Mr. P got on the phone right away, got our $200 refunded, and the $50 delivery refunded as well. Right on, Mr. P. But now the question is, Has it been installed yet, Bucola T? Have you done any laundry? That's the real question. And Cindy, you grew a loofah vine once long ago. It has an outer rind, and after it dries, you have to work the seeds out. Yeah, it doesn't look like something that's... I mean, it looks like it's easy, but there's some work to get them right. And Terry and Skyland coming in. Bull kelp is a northwestern American species used by coastal indigenous peoples to create fishing nets. Giant kelp is the largest seaweed found in the Pacific coast of North America and South America and the Atlantic coast of South Africa. Formerly, okay, we're not going to talk about that. And yes, kombu is another species of kelp found in Japan. And it's, I guess, golden V kelp arophyciu or something like that. And Elaine, orcas are geniuses. Absolutely, they are way smarter than you and I ever got to be thinking they were. And the simple fact that they know that the shark liver is worth 2 million calories and they can precisely surgically remove it with their attack shows that these animals have a lot of training. These animals have a lot of ancestral knowledge that has been passed down. These animals would not be as smart as they were without their grandmas, which is what they've shown, what anthropologists and other studiers of mammals have realized, that it's not always evolutionarily beneficial to keep females around after their childbearing age has been passed. But elephants, humans, and orcas all have women that are part of their society that are past their childbearing age. And it has everything to do with passing down collective knowledge. And basically, it is sort of a unifying trait of highly intelligent mammals. And let's see here. Puzzycat, you got $275 off my refrigerator when delivered because it had a dent in the door. Nice. There you go. I don't care if there's a dent on my door as long as that thing works good and as long as I get a discount. Sounds exactly right. Oh no! I forgot to have my Lono on. Thanks, you guys, for pointing that out. And Bucola T, orcas probably know humans have tiny brains, kind of tiny brains, but we're stupid enough to ruin stuff if orcas have too much interaction. Yeah, exactly. And let's see here. Let's see here. You've already done 5 loads of laundry. Nice, Bucola T. That makes me very happy. And I'm sure everything in your house is going to get laundered now because you can. I know that when my washing machine finally got installed, I went on every blanket in the house, every pillow in the house, every comforter in the house, everything, every towel, everything. And Kenny from the Cove, some of my Irish ancestors, the Dulamal, made part of their living harvesting seaweed. Not even surprised at all. But what I am also not surprised at all is we are now 1 minute before a Lono listening break. And in honor of the royalty that we have here in my house, that is Sir Leo, Lord of Molokai, I decided to play a Lono song that we have played fairly recently ago, but it is Puli'o'o, that's Powerful Prayers of Molokai, and now it's time to listen to some Lono.
Puli'o'o, O Molokai. Powerful prayers. E aloha no ka imi kahua, o ka hula piko ea, ko amana, ano Aloha no koino wa kako Kalahumi o Molokai luna Hei no ano Me Molokai nui a hina E ola mau E aloha wau I a oe O me hana hoku leo Me Molokai pau E aloha wau I a oe O me hana hoku leo E aloha no kaya kea O aloha kamehameha me Maka'ainana Anoha no koino wa kako Kalahui o Molokai luna Hei no ano E Molokai nui a hina E ola mau E aloha wau I a oe O me hana o kuleo E Molokai nui a hina E ola mau E aloha wau I a oe O me hana o kuleo E aloha no makua teia O ka lau papa kanaina E ia Anoha no koino a kako Kalahuri o Molokai luna Hei no ano E Molokai nui a hina E ola mau E aloha wau I a oe O me hana o kuleo Me Molokai nui a hina E ola mau E aloha wau I a oe O me hana o kuleo Me Molokai nui a hina E ola mau E aloha wau I a oe O me hana o kuleo Me Molokai nui a hina E ola mau E aloha wau I a oe O me hana o kuleo O me hana o kuleo Kuleo o Molokai
Yeah, Andre, speaking of a bowhead whale, I don't know how to pronounce that actually, discovered with a old harpoon in it with a harpoon design from 1879. Yeah, so those old creatures hold some historical wisdom, and can, one whale can witness 5 generations of human evolution within their lifetime, and yeah, so they definitely, I'm sure, have a lot of opinions about us, and I have no doubt in my mind that they talk about us. I have no doubt in my mind they talk about us. All right. So speaking of talking about folks, I want to talk about some people, part of the Chatterbox crew, who I don't think are here today. I don't recall, and boy, y'all, if you are here and I'm like forgetting that you're here, I am sorry, but are Rick and Darlene here? Or are they up at the north? Because I'm going to talk about Rick and Darlene, y'all. Oh my god, dude. Okay, and C Honda is here. I was going to talk a little bit about her too, but I thought she was here. But Rick and Darlene, look what they did. Look what they did. Look what Rick and Darlene. Do you know where this picture was taken? Do you know what we're looking at? Do you know what this is? This is plumeria. Other people call it frangipani or something like that. We know it as plumeria. Where do you think this picture was taken? Do you think it was taken in Hawaii? You'd be wrong. You would be wrong. It is not taken in Hawaii. This was taken in Wisconsin, y'all. Wisconsin. Did you know that they can grow plumeria in Wisconsin? Well, I don't know who your they is, but my they is Rick and Darlene. Rick and Darlene. Rick and Darlene. Rick and Darlene. Puzzy Cat. Well, yeah, you have those too because, of course, fuzzy puzzies. Of course, Puzzy Cats can grow plumerias in Florida. But Puzzy Cat, check this out. Wisconsin's not Florida. And some 2 plumeria trees in Texas. Once again, broken sold. Not at all surprised. But how about Wisconsin? Shoot, gosh darn heck fork. That is impressive to me. Now, I know that it spent a lot of the year inside, but I also had a plumeria that I had most of the year inside. And yeah, it just didn't work out well. Oh no. I found about 18 different ways to kill it and bring it back to life and kill it and then bring it back to life until eventually it said, you know what, I'm just going to rot from the inside out, okay? I'm just going to rot. You've given me too much water. You've given me not enough water. You didn't do anything right. You tried to do things right. You did things half right, but half right's still half wrong. Rick and Darlene, on the other hand, well, I'm pretty impressed. Oh, really, Broken Soul? He actually takes them inside during the winter in Texas? Well, I guess, yeah, now that I think about it, Texas has been known to get, these days, some cold snaps, now that I think about it. But yeah, so that is Rick and Darlene and their wonderful garden. And very surprising that you can grow them this well up north, but alas, I guess you can. And speaking of, I know, totally awesome with the fragrance of Hawaii. Yeah, and apparently plumeria in some other parts of the world are called, I don't know how to pronounce it, but frangipani, frangipani, Frangi, I think, Pani, frangipani, something like that. All I know is, I didn't realize that word, we're going to just say frangipani. I didn't know that was the same thing as plumeria. And when I was in college, I found this incense that just was beautiful to me, and I could not place the fragrance. And normally I don't like floral smells, so I was really confused as to why this smelled so good to me, because it was very floral. But I loved it. And then later on, like 20 years later, I found out that it's the same thing as plumeria, at which place I was like, oh, that explains it, because even though I don't like floral scents, plumeria is the acceptable, is an acceptable floral scent. And let's see here. Whoa, Carol Swift has all her trees in 55-gallon drums in her yard. Interesting. And let's see here, speaking of Hawaii, says Broken Soul, my friend from Honolulu landed in San Diego this morning and will be in Houston this weekend. Miso, happy, awesome, dude. I hope that you have a great time with your friend. And so Pacola T, frangipani sounds like Fran G Pan G. Frangipani? Frangipani? But there's no... Wait, what? Now I'm confused. I mean, I'm always confused. And Kenny's saying Frangipani. Frangipani? I like plumeria, you guys. Pussycat, you're growing high biscuits? That's excellent. High biscuits are the best biscuits to grow. I can't grow the tropical high biscuits, but there is a hardy high biscuit that I can grow in my area. And I am looking into it because I really enjoy high biscuits as well. And let's see here. Elaine, my uncle had a plumeria tree in a pot that he'd bring indoors during the snowy winter and place outside during the warm weather. Yeah, that was my intention. That was my intention. Didn't really happen that way. And so, Pocolati, Fran, not Fran. Okay, good. And wow, Pussycat, you grew a bird of paradise from a seed I got at the airport when you left Hawaii. Interesting. So the great scholar pronounced it Frangipani. Frangipani. Okay. And the name Frangipani comes from a 16th century marquis of the noble Frangipani family in England who created a synthetic plumeria-like perfume. Okay, all right. And Pussycat, it's a 35-year-old bird of paradise. Awesome. Pikake versus jasmine. Yeah, see, I don't like that. I don't like that smell at all. You guys can have your Pikake, you can have your jasmine, you can have whatever, you can have it all. And yes, if I'm given a lei made up of those, I will wear it. But I will find a way to get it worn out and falling off my neck quicker than the average lei. Let's just put it that way. And oh, the great scholar being Jimmy Buffett. Got it. Does it count that I have several tea leaf from airport stock? Well, I'm not sure what you mean by from airport stock. Did you steal them from the airport? Or did you purchase them legally to grow in your area? And E-Music, oh, your 4 plumeria died from bugs. Oh, bummer. And plumeria, gardenia, magnolia, and pikake are the only floral fragrances I like. Yeah, see, plumeria and rose are kind of the only florals that I'm a big fan of. I don't like jasmine. I don't like lilac. I don't like lilies. Oh my god, I really don't like lilies. I don't know what gardenia or magnolia smell like, so I can't answer that. So let's see here. The plants that they sell in the airport. Okay. You've got an unkillable jasmine around your fence. It smells good on warm night, though. Yeah, see, it doesn't, though. It doesn't, though. In fact, I think that might have been the smell that I was smelling last night. I got out of my car. It was like dusk. And as soon as I opened my car door, I was like, oh, what is that smell? And it was very clearly, something floral. And I couldn't place it, but now that I think it's night blooming jasmine. Because my neighbor used to have that, and I wonder if they still do. It's just not coming over my fence anymore, so I don't realize that they have it. Yeah. And you also have a banana tree. Nice. I have wanted to try to grow some tea, but I can't find any around here to grow, and I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to do it anyway, so, there's that. But let's see here. So, oh, yes, here we go. But speaking of growing stuff in places you would not expect. So, okay, we've got plumeria in Wisconsin, right? Well, we also have kalo or taro in Oregon. Check this out.
Get this, kalo patches in Portland, Oregon.
Members of a Hawaiian Civic Club are finding success promoting the traditional practice in the Pacific Northwest while also reconnecting with their culture. Jim Mendoza has the story.
Thousands of miles away from the Hawaiian Islands, a growing group of native Hawaiians work the soil in the metropolitan area of Portland, Oregon. Through them, taro has taken root in the Pacific Northwest.
Our kupuna always guide us, so they must have put us there for a reason.
Le'aloha Ka'ula was born in Hawaii. She now lives in Aloha, Oregon, and is one of the founders of the gardening effort that started a few years ago as a project for her hula halau.
The goal was to be able to grow kalo. That was going to be our focus, and it was, if I felt this way, imagine how many Hawaiians feel that way. So that's what we're doing.
She helped to launch a Hawaiian civic club called Kalo HCC. The Oregon Food Bank came on board and provided some plots of land. Now the nonprofit has about 300 members who grow and tend dryland taro.
And then they harvest the leaves, they malama it, they clean it, and then they make their own laulau, they cook it, and then they eat it. So that they see, right, like this is farming. This is sustainability.
It's also an important tie to their Hawaiian culture and heritage. The U.S. Census shows more Native Hawaiians now reside on the mainland than live in the 50th state.
I think the reality of Hawaii being so expensive has really taken a toll on our people. And that's for many years, right? It's not just the realization is that now we see the statistics, right? We've seen the data.
Besides uplifting Native Hawaiians, the Civic Club also works with other Pacific Islander groups in Oregon. Kalo HCC developed a curriculum for elementary and middle schools in the area, and it just completed a research project.
Not only are we growing kalo to feed our people, what we're doing is we're actually measuring the impact of health by growing kalo.
The group has found a way to keep its taro alive during the winter months, and the gardens now include other crops. Ka'ula believes growing kalo together strengthens the bond between keiki and kupuna. Their taro patch is a home away from home.
To be living away from home and to still have that sense of place it's immeasurable.
To learn more about Kalo HCC, visit its website, kalohcc.org. I'm Jim Mendoza for Hawaii News Now.
So I know that it seems weird. In fact, Verity, that's not right. Right? I can appreciate why you just said that. But as Si Honda points out, that's a healthy garden. I mean, that they obviously they know what they're doing. But check this out, y'all. In some areas of Western Washington and Western Oregon, where this taro patch is, we are designated USDA Zone 9A. And from what I understand, the USDA zones go 1 through 10, 10 being the warmest. Now you got to remember, USDA zones are dictated not necessarily by how hot it gets, but how cold it doesn't get. And so we are, though we're not tropical, we are in the same type of climate zone as someone in Georgia, as other states that are much further south than us. In fact, I believe there are parts of Hawaii that are zoned 9A. There are also parts of Hawaii that are zoned 10, and there are also parts of Hawaii that are zoned 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, because Hawaii, they've got a lot of climate zones, you know, what with the mountains and everything. Then, on top of that, we like to think of, you know, taro as a wetland patch, which is true. It grows in the lohi, you know, the mud, the lohi. But there are various and assorted types of taro, kalo as it were. There's taro that is grown in the wetlands close to the ocean in the brackish water. There's taros that are grown further up in the fresh water, and that's what we're used to in modern day. But then there's also dryland kalo. And as you might have noticed in that news break, the dryland kalo, it looks like they don't use the corms. They don't make poi out of it. They don't use the bulb. They just use the leaf. And they use the leaf for wrapping their lau lau or other things. But it looks like it's just the leaf on the dryland. At least that's what the newscast made me think. So different, they're not using the kalo the way, from corm to leaf, the way the wetland kalo gets used, but it still gets used. And so I think that's kind of cool. And by the way, Shock, I think, actually has some kalo that she grows in Virginia. But I also think she pretty much drowns it every day, because even dryland taro likes a lot of water, from what I understand. And Kenny from the Cove, you got to get up early tomorrow, Kitty, so I'm head off to bed, but not in a Murphy bed. There we go. And probably not in a fold-out couch bed either. Hopefully, at least. And, all right, so, Pussycat, I wonder how many people are silent viewers. I don't know for certain, but given the statistics that I get when after the shows, I would say there's more than one, for sure. So let's see here. All right, so we have got an oh wait, I keep one in the shade and don't have to water that as much, but right now I have to water everything every day. Got it. All right, so as you guys might have noticed, we just had a Stream Elements pop up with some Factor stuff. So let's just talk about Factor for a minute, because we're still on that promo. If you use my promo code, and I've been forgetting to do this for a really long time, if you use my promo code for Factor, if you decide to order it, you want to use that code or that link, and you want to use that code. And with each box, they will let you get 2 extra free thingies. I've got a coconut fudge truffle bar, and I've got some peanut butter bites. No added sugars to these things. The sugars come from like dates and stuff. I haven't tried them yet, but they are nice little additions. And one thing that I told you guys when we discussed Factor at length, I told you something that wasn't true. And what I said was that the breakfast entrees that Factor orders don't count as the meals. Those would only count as extra meals. And that is patently wrong. I found that out. I ordered some breakfast. This is the breakfast. We've got seasoned potatoes. We've got a bacon egg gravy scramble. Here. What we have actually is everything seasoned gravy and bacon scramble with paprika, roasted zucchini, and pepper medley. And so, okay, those aren't potatoes. Those are zucchinis and peppers. So that's what the breakfast looks like. And that's a pretty big breakfast. I'll be having that tomorrow. So I just wanted to let y'all know that if you were interested in something other than lunches and dinners for Factor, you don't have to go into your extras. That actually does count in your order. And let's see here. You can count Jaffa among your silent viewers. She sits on my lap and is riveted by my creative vocabulary. Exactly. And let's see here. I got a big bag of Flitz chocolate covered pretzels today, and they're delicious. I don't know what a Flitz chocolate covered pretzel is, but I do know that chocolate covered pretzels are delicious. Oh, do you mean Flips? Flipz? The Flips? Isn't that what those chocolate covered pretzels are called? Because Pussycat, you either need to get over here right now or stay far away from me. Because I want to eat them. If you get over here right now, I'm going to put them in my belly, not yours. If you want fisticuffs, then come here, because I'm going to steal them from you. But if you don't want fisticuffs, then you better stay far away. Because I'll steal those Flips from you. I don't care if they got gluten. I don't care if they got sugar. I'll steal those Flips from you. Because they are delicious. And shock, we get plenty tomatoes today. And you will probably continue to get plenty tomatoes until the end of the season. Because tomatoes are never ending. That's right. They're never ending. And do you have a dehydrator? I've been told that dehydrated sliced tomatoes is really tasty. Sounds gross to me. And the person who said that they were really tasty said that they sounded gross to them too, but they had too many of them, so they thought they'd try it. And now they're their new favorite snack. So who knew? Dehydrated sliced tomatoes are a thing. And they're a tasty thing. And you ate yours with bacon for lunch today. Yes, that. Oh, I saw that picture. I saw that picture, and it looked like it was an heirloom tomato, actually. It was a little bit green, a little bit brown, a little bit red, a little bit funky colored with all sorts of strange shapes. It looked delicious. Yes, yes. Broken Soul, dehydrated mushrooms go well with popcorn. Broken Soul, what kind mushroom? I think you know why I'm asking. And Terry in Scotland, I love sun-dried tomatoes. Yeah, but these are not sun-dried tomatoes, because sun-dried tomatoes are usually like the Roma tomatoes that are split in half or whole and dehydrated. These ones I'm talking about are like a beefsteak tomato, sliced really thin, and then dehydrated, like you end up with a tomato chip. They're not, they don't look like, but you know, I do like sun-dried tomatoes, so I guess maybe that tomato chip would be good. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, exactly, Andre. Like sun-dried tomato, now that I think about it, I guess, so dehydrated might not be that bad. And Broken Soul, the good ones. Morels? Chanterelles? Oyster? Button? Cremini? Psilocybin? What do you mean by good mushrooms, my friend? And Pussycat, I made fettuccine with garlic bread tonight. I have been thinking about making some fettuccine. I have both a solid block of Parmesan and pre-grated, and I have a bunch of butter and I have noodles, so I have been kind of craving some fettuccine. And last option, I had a feeling that's what you were talking about, Broken Soul. I had a feeling that's what you were talking about. But speaking of fettuccine, y'all, how do you guys make your fettuccine? Do you use cream? Do you use cream cheese? Do you use sour cream? Do you use milk? What do you guys use when you make your fettuccine Alfredo? And I love that they have Parmesan banks in Italy. I did not know that they did, but that doesn't surprise me. And I find it very strange, I find it very neat that different countries have banks for different things. From what I understand, in Iran, there are banks that people keep their rugs in. They're Persian rugs. And Cindy Krause, I made some spinach fettuccine noodles. I use heavy cream. Pussycat, I use it from a jar. Fair enough, fair enough. Anybody else, if you make fettuccine from scratch, what's your method? Bottled fettuccine sauce, ha ha ha, there you go. Okay, well, you guys, check this out. In the original recipe for fettuccine, there's no cream. There's no cream cheese. There's no milk. There's certainly no sour cream. The original recipe was just butter, Parmesan cheese, and pasta water. And it's the pasta water mixed with the butter and the cheese that create the creamy emulsion sauce that we think is a cream sauce. But it's actually not a cream sauce. You don't need cream at all. You just use the butter and the butter and the Parmesan. and the pasta water. The pasta water is what's key. And here we go. Everybody's coming in like, nuh-uh, Verity. Equal parts butter and cream cheese with white pepper, garlic, extra dry sherry, and half and half. Sounds delicious, but and obviously, oh, sorry, I was thinking of Alfredo sauce. Yeah, exactly. No, that is Alfredo sauce is, bottled fettuccine sauce. Well, right, but you serve Alfredo sauce on fettuccine, so I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant when you said fettuccine sauce. And let's see here, Terry in Scotland coming in. Outside of Italy, cream is sometimes used to thicken the sauce, and ingredients such as chicken, shrimp, or broccoli may be added when fettuccine Alfredo is served as a main course. Neither cream nor the other additional ingredients are used in Italy, where the dish is rarely called Alfredo. Very true. The Alfredo is named after the chef that made that dish for whichever Hollywood actress brought it to the United States. I can't remember which Hollywood actress it was. I think she was a star like during the silent film era. I can see her face. I just can't come up with her name, but she called it her fettuccine Alfredo when she brought it. That's what she called it, and that's how it's referred to here. But ultimately, it is actually just tons of butter, more butter than you have a right to think about on your plate. Tons of cheese, more cheese than you have a right to think about on your plate, and then that pasta sauce. But Broken Soul, so we've got heavy cream, cream cheese, sour cream, butter, Parmesan cheese, garlic, and white pepper. There you go. And Pussycat, my wife, does make it from an envelope with the seasoning. Okay. Yeah, so Alfredo sauce can be made a bunch of different ways, but one of the easiest ways, seriously, if you want some Alfredo and you don't have all that extra stuff, but you do have water, you do have pasta, you do have the butter, and you do have the Parmesan cheese, you can actually make a traditional fettuccine Alfredo with just those. And at Piccola Tea, we've been on a Cacio e Pepe binge lately, just butter and Parmesan and lots of black pepper on the noodles with pasta water. Right, exactly. The steps and technique have to be just right to get the creamy texture. Restaurants are charging an obscene $20 for this simple dish. Basically, yeah, the only thing from what I understand that's different with the Cacio de Pepe, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, and fettuccine Alfredo is the type of noodles used in it, because usually the one that you're referring to, is more of a spaghetti-like, or maybe a linguine, not as fat as a fettuccine. And the Alfredo is traditionally with the fettuccine. And then the Alfredo also traditionally doesn't have the black pepper in such heavy amounts. Generally, I think they use white pepper in Alfredo, and not nearly as much. But yeah, but it's all about the technique to get that creamy sauce, to get that emulsifying. And it's so delicious. Mary Pickford, exactly, Terry in Scotland. That is the name I was thinking of. No, that is the face I was thinking of. Not the name. The name escaped me, but that was the face I was thinking of. Cacio e Pepe. Pepe. Cacio Pepe. I'm gonna have to hear that before I feel comfortable saying that. Are you making me say bad words? And let's see here. Pussycat, you had a friend named Alfredo. I actually watched this guy on YouTube called Fredo on TV. And his name's Alfredo. You guys, he just does basically, well, he does actually a lot of videos. The videos I watch are his reaction videos. He is so flippin' funny, y'all. He's originally from Mississippi, but now he lives in Texas, and so he's just got this, but he doesn't have a deep drawl Southern accent. I mean, he's got a little bit of a Southern accent, but not really that much. He used to be a professional dancer. He used to be a big-time track star in college, like world record-breaking kind of stuff, you know. You guys, Fredo on TV, I cannot recommend him enough. He's got these little 1 minute or less clips, and they are really funny. I definitely recommend checking out Fredo on TV. And Fredo, Fredo, like Alfredo, but it's Fredo on TV. And let's see here. No, it was Mary Pickford. Mitchie Mama. I'm 90% sure it was Mary Pickford that I was. But now that you say Mae West, I'm like, oh wait. And did I get that from that history guy on YouTube? No. You mean how to make the Alfredo properly? No, I got that from watching way too many cooking shows. Oh, cool. Excellent, dude. You know who Fredo is then, Broken Soul. And yes, Fredo is funny AF. And I can't believe that your post got held for moderation because of swearing. And oh, awesome. Terry in Scotland. His full government name is Francis Alfredo Fartle. Perfect. And the Alfredo recipe I use is memorized, passed down from grandmother to mother to me. Well, then, Broken Soul, then that's the right way to make Alfredo in your family. Forget what the Italians do. What I just said is just like, okay, that's how they do it. But no, that's how your family does it, then that is the right way as far as your family is concerned. And also, it sounds really yummy. And, let's see here. Let's see here, Shock. Oy vey. Shock says oy vey, but I'm pretty sure she meant to say oy vey. I am not quite halfway done with the rack for storage tubs, and I feel so done. Dude, that's what happens to me halfway through an organizational thing. It just peters out. And Pussycat, do I add an egg to the sauce? No. No, then that would make it a carbonara, and I do not like carbonara at all. Everything about carbonara sounds like I should and would love it. And throughout my whole life, I have tried it again and again because it sounds so good. And I don't like it. I don't like it ever. It's gross. I don't like it. It's gross. But lots of other people do. So if you like carbonara, come sit next to me if we're being served carbonara. And we can do that. Oh, you know what we can also do? We can get rid of these because we're not talking about Factor anymore. And, oh, well, there you go, Shock. It's hot and I'm sticky and my drill battery's getting low. Then it's time for you to stop. And yeah, it's time. Sometimes the universe just tells you it's time for you to stop. For instance, just a few days ago, I decided I was going to be useful and finally tackle the dishes that had been in my sink for over a week. Okay? For over a week, maybe even 2 weeks, I would walk into my kitchen and just see a horrible mess that made me sad, and I would just leave because I couldn't deal. I finally decided to tackle that. And I washed those dishes. And then I picked up the stack of dishes to carry it to the dish rack so I could dry those dishes. I dropped all of those freshly washed dishes and they shattered upon the floor. At that moment, I said, you know what? I'm done cleaning for the day. Yeah, I'm done cleaning for the day. So I left the house and went to my bar and had a beer. I cleaned it up the next day, but I just had spent like 2 hours cleaning weeks worth of dishes. If I would have known that they were going to end up in the sink, on the floor, I would have happily just thrown them away rather than throwing them in the sink. And yeah, Picolati, oh dear, you got to change your dishwashing habits before I move to Hawaii. Absolutely. No, I know. I look at myself at my house and I'm like, there are a million reasons why I can't move to Hawaii right now with the habits that I've got. First off, I free feed my cats dry food all the time, so I don't know how my cats are going to survive because the little ants are just going to be eating their food more than the cats are going to get to eat their food. And Pussycat, I just bought a stack of 400 paper plates. My last grocery trip, yep, I bought a stack of 400 paper plates. I was just like, I can't even at this, no, I just, yeah, I can't right now with this. I just can't right now with this. And Andre, exactly, when dishes break, it's just time to go to Waku and forget about the whole thing. The whole thing. And yeah, time to buy recyclable dishes or compostable, as it were. And let's see here. Yeah, it just yeah, I'm one of those people now. I'm a paper plate person now. And we're all going to be better for it in the long run. In the long run, we're all going to be better for it. All right, so let's see here. I did want to talk about something that Terry in Scotland brought up last night on the movie stream. Seattle's doing some really weird things with houses, and I have an explanation for that, Terry. And I'll tell you right now, the New York Times article is not even close to right as to why it's happening. But alas, we're going to have to wait until Wednesday, I think, to discuss why Seattle homes are doing what Seattle homes are doing. And there is a reason. But let's see here. Shock, I need to clean up and bring the bike bin before I can be done for this day. There you go. Fair enough. Puzzycat, pizza, sandwiches, burgers, all good for paper plates. Exactly. And considering most of my meals these days are coming from a container like this, that's paper plate worthy, baby doll. That is paper plate worthy. None of these things deserve the fine china. Now, if I were to make some Alfredo sauce and some pasta, I might think about bringing out an actual bowl. But, let's see here. Oh, okay, Terry in Scotland. I actually read the article, and the reason isn't taxes. Correct, the reason is not taxes. I was really confused when you said taxes. I could not put my brain around that. And when I finally did read the reason, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Broken Soul, they make paper bowls as well. I know, and that might be the next step, but right now I have one ramen bowl with the Asian style soup ladle. I have my chopsticks and I have a stack of paper plates. And that's basically what I've been using as my dishes for the last while. And yeah, tonight we're not eating in the dining room. And Verity, or can you use the broken shards for a tiling project? It's so funny you should say that. I actually thought that, but in cleaning up the shards, I managed to cut myself so badly, and I was bleeding all over the place that I was like, you know what? I'm not saving. These are dangerous items at this point. I'm hurting myself, so I just can't even. Everything's going in the trash. And let's see here. Yes, they call those connected houses triples, the article stated. Exactly. And yes, Puzzycat, it's time for you to go to sleep, and we're 1 minute until we're done here. So it's time to wrap things up. And C. Honda, we use Corel, supposedly unbreakable dishes. I have Corel, but those are the dishes my cats eat off of. And the reason why I have, well, first off, they're tiny, so that's one reason why the cats eat off them. But the reason why I decided the Corel dishes were good for the cats is because they're on the floor, and in case I step on them, they don't break. And just so you know, I have stepped on them, and they don't break. And Shock, though, you've broken most of your Corel. Interesting. You really had to try it, because the Corel has come closer to breaking me than I have the dishes. I stepped on one Corel, and it slid me across the flipping floor. I skated all the way across that kitchen on that plate. Woo! And yes, the dishes did get revenge on me. It was a suicide attack. And Puzzycat, I used Dawn Extra Strength. I used Dawn Power Scrub. The extra strength ruins my hands. I like the Power Scrub. But, alright, you guys. We are now officially at the bottom of the hour, which means we're officially done. We've got nothing more to talk about here. We're done. Yep, there you go. You're supposed to use a fork, not a drill, so your Corelle won't break. Cindy Krause, you use a dishwasher. Cindy, don't get me started on my dishwasher saga. That is how we started this very stream. The dishwasher saga. And speaking of the dishwasher saga and how we started the stream, next Wednesday is going to be our 4th year anniversary for the start of the stream. So I guess you could say we have, at this point, come full circle. And because of that, it's time to go. See you on Wednesday, y'all, 5 p.m. West Coast time. But before that, I hope to see you on Monday, 3:30 p.m. Hawaii time, 6:30 p.m. West Coast time. You know where. Andy Booma Tai. All right, you guys, thank you, mods, for hanging out. And thank you, chatters, for chattering. This was a very fun stream, and we didn't even get to talk about everything we want to talk about. So, we'll have to talk about that on Wednesday. Take care. Have a good one.